Remember how I started this morning? Atiku fires a shot. Tinubu picks the bullet. Atiku says Tinubu is a wobbly, wonky, and narcotic-devastated presidential candidate. I asked before, what is wonky? Look at this. Tinubu fired the first shot on Wednesday when he told his man, Bayo Ononuga, Director Media and Publicity of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, to announce to the world that Atiku's recent trip to the United Kingdom was to seek medical attention. This did not go down well with Atiku, who fired back saying that Asiwaju suffers from manifest Parkinson's disease accompanied with incontinence. What is incontinence? Check your dictionary. Should I call Wole Soyinka? Tinubu camp asserts, we have it on good authority that Atiku indeed fell ill while missing on the field. Atiku has been missing on the field. Did he go to Dubai to recuperate? Tinubu is saying that Atiku was indeed in the United Kingdom for some medical help. Is there anything wrong with that? If you're sick, you get medical attention. Okay. Look at what Tinubu said. It says, Atiku has been on campaign grounds and he's seen being helped to descend steps at stadia, stating that the PDP presidential candidate sometimes walks dragging his feet at 76. If you drag your feet, is it bad? It's my mom 76, almost 76. I know she drags her feet. So even if Tinubu drags his feet, okay? I think my dad is older than Tinubu. He doesn't drag his feet. The man is just lucky. Tinubu has asked the 76-year-old Atiku Abubakar to come clean with his health. That is just about health. Atiku went as far as defining what Parkinson's disease means. You see, when old men fight, be careful. Atiku says Parkinson's disease is a brain disorder with symptoms including shaking of hands, stiffness of limbs, difficulty with coordination, problem with balance when working. The symptoms include articulation disorder, memory problems, as well as general mental and physical weakness. He says Tinubu exhibits these symptoms. I'll tell you more as we go. It's about politics and power. And Titi Lokbe Badamosi is on State Affairs. Titi, good to have you here.
Hello, Edmund. Good to have you.
Good. It's about Tinubu. He wants to be president. And I've seen your pictures with Tinubu. And you want Tinubu to be president, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me more about him.
I see Tinubu as the man who is ready to do the job. Not because I am in the APC, but because I am looking at his track records. I have seen what he has done in Lagos State. I have seen how ready he is to do the assignment. Talking about what he has done in Lagos State, you have a man who immediately he became the governor-elect, went down to do a 32-year development plan for Lagos State. And that is what Lagos is still working on. We've had other governors who built on it, taking the baton from where he stopped. I want to see Nigeria become a country that works for all. And when you look at the kinds of candidates we have, you want to be sure that the person we are electing is somebody who can give us a country that we are proud of. How do we know that he can give us a country that we are proud of? We look at their track records. We look at their manifesto. These are the two things. Edmund, you've been a teacher. You were my teacher. If you are going to a competition, you go with your best students. How do you know your best students? Edmond, I'm asking you.
No, you tell me. How did I know you were one of my best students?
Okay, now that you have admitted that I was one of your best students, I'm sure that you looked at our track records through examination scores, right? Not just by looking at physical attributes or looking at how one talks. You looked at our examination records, you looked at our continuous assessments, and then you discovered or decided that I'm taking these students to this competition, I'm taking that student to this competition. That is how election works, really, because it is a competition.
Is it a competition that produces the best?
It is a competition because at the end of the day, it is now before Nigerians to choose.
Is Tinubu the best?
He is absolutely the best.
Did you hear what Atiku said about him?
Yes, I heard what Atiku said about him. But then, we understand that Atiku is a man who knows that he's going to lose this election. So he's fighting everything he can, with everything he can, saying things that he feels that can water down his opponent's chances, which we understand. But then it is now left for Nigerians to look at the opponent and say, these things that Atiku has said. We have seen Tinubu go to almost all the states for campaigns. It is not an easy task. I'm always on campaign trails. I'm just 33 years, and sometimes I'm very tired. Sometimes you face the audience and you just don't know what to say. Not because your brain has stopped working or because you are tired or fatigued, but because it is not a cakewalk, Edmond. It is not a cakewalk.
Tinubu says he's going to the villa. Who wants to go to the villa with Bola Tinubu? Here is Tinubu last year. I'm talking about 2022 in Kaduna State, telling the delegates that he is going to the villa.
Do we have to wait for it? Now they are condemning it. Our priority is peace and stability. End to the carnage of killing, to educate our people, to make sure our children are well educated like us, so that we can have, we build today, we build tomorrow today. You in Kaduna, you have sufficient arable land, and you rank high, if not number one, in the production of soya beans, sorghum, and tomatoes. The federal government, under me, I'm confident I will win. We be with you, we support you on all aspects of governance, because you are a model. You have history behind you. But you must sail with the wind of progress. Your industry will blossom. The critical item you need for industrialization is electricity. Once you have it constant and sufficient in the right voltage, yes, the textile industry will be back. The farmers will feel secured. With all these arable lands, we must bring back the commodity exchange. Guarantee you farmers the prices and give you the credit necessary to make money. We are serious about that. That's where we are running. Some may be running, I don't know where to. But me, I'm going to the villa. Inshallah.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Yes, that was Tinubu in May 2022, telling the delegates in Kaduna that he's on the way to the villa. My guest is Titi Lokbeg Badamosi, a community organizer who served as special assistant to the former governor of Oyo State, Governor Abiola Ajimobi, between 2017 to 2019. As a special assistant on community relations to Oyo State Governor, Titi Lokbeg delved deep into issues of community dispute, notably on farmers' herders' crisis, engaging them at the local levels to profile lasting solution to the dispute. Bola Tinubu says he is going to the villa. Are you going with him?
Absolutely, I am going with him.
You like the villa?
Of course.
Oh, you like power?
I do.
You have become a politician, Titi.
Well, I'm not the young girl you thought in 2004 anymore. So I'm very happy that you've seen me evolve, Edmond.
Yes.
So you should be proud of me.
That's why you're here.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking into your eyes, seeing your evolution. And you stand with Tinubu, you stood with Ajimobi. Titi is going places. And Titi wants Tinubu to be governor. Will you want to be a minister someday?
I want Tinubu to be president.
Or president, rather. Will you want to be a minister?
Yes. And that is why I'm with a man like Tinubu who develops talents. I have chosen him because I have seen what he has done with people around him. If you look at the likes of Babatunde Raji Fashola, His Excellency, if you look at the likes of our present Vice President, if you look at the likes of Minister Sunday Dari, if you look at the likes of Abike Dabiri Erewa, those are the kind of people that I want to be like too. So I want to be sure that I am with the person that made them, the person who saw talents in them, the person who saw intellectuals and said, this person is going places.
Yes, Tinubu makes people.
Absolutely. He mentors people. God makes people.
As he mentors people, Nigeria grows poorer. How do you explain that?
Well, Nigeria's, when you say Nigeria grows poorer, are you attributing it to the Tinubu factor? I'm sure that is not what you meant. But I would say that Nigeria is not just a piece of cake. There are different parts to it. And so we have the federal government, we have the state government. But the focus here is on Tinubu. What did Tinubu do with his Lagos state when he was governor? And then we can now look at it and make it an umbrella factor.
What's special about Lagos? Because I hear this argument all the time.
Lagos is special because we know that it is one of the cities in Nigeria that we are proud of. When you look at the documentary on Nigeria, any documentary at all, whether it is Nigerians shooting the documentary or even people from other countries, there is a focus on Lagos. There are highlights from Lagos. We have the Lekki Free Trade Zone. We have the Eco-Atlantic coming up. We have, now look at what's his name? The Excellency, the governor of Lagos State, Sanwo-Olu did with the Blue Rail. It is unprecedented. So when you look at these things, you say, I want Oyo State to be like Lagos State someday. I want to see the skyscrapers. I want to see us elect governors that would be forward thinking, come up with a blueprint for the next 50 years, and then we'll follow through.
If you look at Lagos, Lagos has been a development zone from 1861. When the colonial masters came, they landed in Lagos, and from there they made inroad into the hinterland, and they began the development of Lagos State. If you compare Lagos State to cities like Casablanca, you want to cry for Lagos. Go to Cape Town.
Edmond, what I would say to you is, if you say Lagos has always been on the development trajectory, I would agree with you. But at what point did we take on Lagos? And we are comparing, let us not compare apples and oranges. Let us not compare the colonial masters to the crop of politicians we have. Let us compare who are our own people. And so I'm going to stay on Bola Tinubu because when he became the governor of Lagos State, he already knew what he was going to do. If you look at the history of how Lagos became what it is today, this was a man that before he got sworn in, he sat down with his team. He picked his team. He selected his team. He knew where he was going. He knew where he wanted that state to be. And that is what is very important. So if we look at Lagos and say, oh, what is special about Lagos? We are comparing Lagos with the states in Nigeria.
Okay. Perhaps that's why they say in a city or in a country of blind people, a one-eyed man is a star?
Well, if you say that, I would. My argument to that would be that if you say a country of blind people, a one-eyed man is a star, I think you should look at that with a progressive mind. At least we have someone who is seeing, and then he's capable of making other blind people see as well. Because is it that the people are blind or their eyes are shut? That is the question. Bola Tinubu knows that we are not blind in Nigeria. All 36 states of Nigeria are not blind. But it just takes one giant to wake all the giants up. And that's what he's going to do with Nigeria.
Let me tell Titi something that Atiku Abubakar said again about Bola Tinubu. You know, when Atiku and Tinubu begin to exchange words, I say, okay, what's going on? Atiku is mad that Tinubu has the gut to say he is not well. He says it's unfortunate. Atiku says Tinubu, who cannot stand erect or walk up an elevation unaided, a Tinubu who is plagued by visible tremor of the hands, who palpitates at the slightest physical exertion, I'm using Atiku's words, who would have the audacity to talk about his health. Atiku, calm down. Who will beg Tinubu to leave Atiku alone? But Atiku is not ready to give up. Atiku tells the world that Tinubu is corrupt and unfit for public office. Atiku, how? How did you arrive at that? He makes reference to Tinubu's $460,000 forfeiture for narcotic-related offence in the United States. Atiku accuses Tinubu of looting Lagos State Treasury and stripping her of her property. Atiku makes reference to cases of forgery, impersonation, perjury, inconsistencies in name, age, as well as questionable educational background, ancestry. How can Atiku talk to Tinubu like that? What does he mean by corruption? Has Tinubu been sentenced by any court of law? But Tinubu also says that Atiku is ole. What is ole? According to Tinubu and his handlers, Atiku's scandalous confession of how he colluded with his former boss, Olusegun Obasanjo, to fleece the Nigerian treasury using the special purpose vehicles after he became vice president in 1999 should not be forgotten by the electorate. Tinubu says when it comes to corruption, Atiku is a legend. Hey, when PDP presidential candidate is a legend in corruption matters, where do we run to? Legendarily corrupt. That is what Tinubu is saying, that Atiku is legendarily corrupt. What a time to be born. I thought fantastically corrupt was the best definition. Now Tinubu has given us a new one. Sheyi Makinde, Tinubu says the candidate of your party is legendarily corrupt. In the statement, Tinubu says if Atiku has some modicum of honor, he ought to have stepped down from the race, that he is bound to lose again. Hey, Atiku the perpetual loser. Tinubu is ready to beat him this time. Okay. Legendarily corrupt. You like that, right?
Yes, I love new words, and it grows our dictionary. You know, so when people come up with new words, it's welcome. But in Atiku's case, he has no moral standing to say that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is corrupt. And why do I say this? Let me take you a bit back. This entire drug deal, drug issues started in 1993, before Tinubu became governor of Lagos. Tinubu became governor in 1999. And if you have been following the case, it was an indictment. An indictment is different from
a conviction.
A conviction in nomenclature and meaning. Absolutely different, even in our own legal jurisdiction. So if you look at the case, in 2003, precisely on the 4th of February 2003, a letter was sent to Tafa Balogun, the IGP at the time, clearing Asiwaju Bola Tinubu of any case. The letter was sent from the United States. How big, the question that Nigerians should be asking is, how big can Asiwaju Bola Tinubu be to buy over the conscience of Americans, to buy over the conscience of the American government? We know how Americans and the American government go after corrupt cases or corrupt officers. So what could they have done to buy them over, to give him a clean slate?
I hear that Tinubu can buy anything.
Is it possible? You know, I always tell people that when people say things, you fact check. What is the track record of the people who are being bought?
Remember, it's a bullion van man.
How much bullion van, or how many bullion van can it take to the United States? These things are not possible. So when someone like Atiku comes on to say that Tinubu is corrupt, let us not forget that Atiku is the first vice president that is being investigated, even with immunity. It is heavy. It then means that if he cannot be overlooked and with powers of immunity, and then he's still being investigated, there's something about the man. There's also something about the man that Obasanjo fears. Till this date, Obasanjo will tell you that if you love Nigeria, you don't elect an Atiku. Atiku is fast becoming a nomenclature, a synonym for corruption. So you can begin to find out tomorrow that you begin to call people, you are an Atiku. Not because an Atiku is the name that has been given to the person, but because the person is corrupt, like you have said.
Are you an Atiku?
Are you an Atiku?
But Obasanjo says, don't elect Tinubu.
Well, you say don't elect Tinubu. Why did Obasanjo
stay away from him?
Why did Obasanjo say so? It is all we know. About a few weeks ago, or maybe last week, Obasanjo stood on the side of Peter Obi, and I understand why. Both of them are PDP.
Okay.
So people who feel that Peter Obi is a new breed, is in Labour Party, and then Obasanjo is throwing his weight behind him. They are one and same, from the same party.
And Tinubu went to the PDP man to get endorsement.
It is natural because Tinubu is a unifier. He would go round, whether you are from Oyo State, whether you are from Ogun State, whether you like him, whether you don't like him, because he knows that if he becomes, and when he becomes the president, he's not president for himself alone, he's president for all.
Titilope Badamosi is on state affairs. You want to join this discourse? Just hit the nail on the head. 080915 51055. Call the radio station 080569 98678. Yes. Hello.
Yeah, brother, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This is Anthony.
Anthony is here.
You see, your guest, yes, she's a woman, she's young, but I realize that she's full of ambition, selfish ambition. Her purpose of following Tinubu is to make her a minister. Tinubu can be building individuals. Tinubu is different from building a nation. We want nation builder, not an individual. And I want the guest to know that Lagos State happens to be a state that is opportune to be a center of a country from a long time ago. Every concentration has been in Lagos. Lagos just fortunate. It's once a capital of Nigeria, and even in the colonial, so concentration has been there. A lot of plans, a lot of investment has been going on there. So don't give whatever the Lagos is, don't give the glory to one individual.
All right.
And look, let's be realistic. You see, from a student of psychology or a graduate of psychology, from point of view, as I am, I realize that, look, these two parties, APC, PDP, if the best thing is that let a new party take over the government, they will even be pacified.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
They prefer that two of them stay away.
Thank you.
New parties take over the country.
All right.
That would be the best. I pray that should happen. That's my prayer.
Mr. Anthony,
Thank you.
you have made your point. Thank you. Titi, you have to reply him.
May I respond to Mr.
Yeah.
Anthony? Mr. Anthony, thank you very much for your call. I quite appreciate that. But then let me tell you why someone as young as me believes in Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. I believe in him because I have seen his manifesto. If you say I'm selfish, yes, I have to be selfish because I am a Nigerian and I believe in this country. And I want to grow this country with the leaders that we elect at every given time. So if you say because Asiwaju wants to make me minister, that is why I'm here defending him, so be it. Because I know that I have something to contribute to the growth of this country. I am not an empty Nigerian. I am not a Nigerian youth that has nothing to offer. I have so much to offer, and I know that Asiwaju believes in me just as I believe in him, and I believe in his manifesto. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. And let me also make the point. There's nothing wrong with being ambitious.
Absolutely not.
Even the radio man, I want to be president. Huh? I wish I could run against Tinubu and defeat him. But I can't at this point. So don't call me selfish if I want to be president. Okay? Yes. The lines are open. But soon, I can see the phone ringing. Good morning. Titilokwe Badamosi certified
Hello?
by the... Hello.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Shola from Iwood.
All right, Shola, hit the nail on the head.
Thank you. Actually, make some people, and most of them are in this administration. And what has this administration become got for us as citizens? We have Fashola, we have Aregbe, we have Fayemi. All these people, we have Osibajo. They are in this administration. What has they given us as individuals? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Titi, over to you.
Well, let me say that I'll just respond with, because of time, with just one thing. You say, what has this administration given to us? Let me say that the President Muhammadu Buhari administration is the most unsung administration for infrastructure profits. If you look at what this present administration has achieved in infrastructure, you would agree with yourself, not just with me, that if every president comes on to do the same, we will be moving away from where we were yesterday. And I would always say that I believe in progress. If an administration takes us from where we are, if it is easy to say, oh, have you not seen the infrastructure, the train projects? Have you not seen that Lagos Ibadan is about to be completed? Have you not seen the new terminal in Lagos? Have you not seen many firsts that Nigeria has come up with? And even before this administration came to power, we had terrorists who were hoisting their flags in the Nigerian states, and that was an affront to our sovereignty. But all of that we have moved away from. We might not have gotten to the place we want to be, but we are progressively moving forward, and that is what the response to your question would be. You know, if you say that people who Asiwaju has brought up are a part of this administration, I think that I am willing, and if you want to get my number, I will. I have a lot of documents to share with you that time will not permit me to speak on.
Yes, as Buhari tried to bring down the flags, bandits rose in all corners, insurgencies blew up in the southeast. Titi, let me remind you, 2023 budget, total expenditure is 21.83 trillion naira. Total revenue, 9.7 trillion. The budget has a deficit larger than revenue by almost 12 trillion naira. Tragic. Obviously, Kwesele said, tragic. The budget has a deficit larger than revenue by almost 12 trillion. That means your APC government is borrowing to pay salary. Buhari has taken more than 22 trillion from the CBN. And now he wants the National Assembly to legalize that loan through the back door. TT, the APC government has impoverished the Nigerian people, true or false?
False. Absolutely incorrect, Edmond. And I would, when I give my responses, please look at it contextually, all right, within context. Why has Buhari done so much? And why has he had to borrow? Because the foreign reserves were depleted by PDP, by the powers that were there before Buhari became the president. If what we need to run the country is there, why do we have to borrow? And if what we need is not there, who were the ones who took it? Like you always say, who were the goats that ate our cassava? So if there are no cassavas in the basket, do we leave Nigerians to starve? We must continue to work. And then we also must understand that the rot is very deep. And you look at, there are some projects that you look at, if you look at the Ajaokuta steel, they're trying to bring it back up. A lot of industries, moribund industries, are trying to come back up. It's going to go up millions of dollars. Where do we get this money from? We must survive. We cannot sleep because nature abhors vacuum. And so we must continue to progressively work for the Nigerians.
So if Asiwaju wins, he will just be paying debt.
No. Now, this is the difference. You see, government's the continuum, like you know, like I know. And when a governor finishes or a president finishes, he passes the baton to the next one, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the one coming in, it is the duty of the one coming in to look at what this one has done. No one can be 100%, Edmond. Even I am not 100%. You are not 100%. So what Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has done with his team is to look at where Nigeria currently is. And we are currently drawing a master plan to say that, okay, for the next 8 years, where are we taking Nigeria through to? And that is progress. In the words of Lee Kuan Yew, he said, you find books on architecture, you find books on medicine, you find books on mathematics. It is difficult to find a book on nation building. And why is it difficult? It is difficult because one nation is different from another. Nigeria has its own complexities. It has its own uniqueness. And so you cannot apply what happens in Chicago to what happens in Oyo State, for instance. So we must look within. And that is why if you look at what Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has said he would do, we are starting very strongly, first with security, because you must secure your country. That is what you owe Nigerians. It is very important. And then the next thing on that manifesto is economy. How do we grow the economy? How do we use monetary policy? We cannot do much with monetary policies, but we can do much more with the fiscal policies. How do we make sure that what we have on the exclusive list of the legislature can be used to impact the lives of Nigerians and not just rely on the concurrent list, which is always saying that, oh, the powers of this is there. And how do we harmonize? And that is why Asiwaju is working around all the states to make sure that, look, when I become president, it is not about me, it is about us. Let us not forget what he did in Lagos State, creating LCDs. That is a man that wants development to be driven to the grassroots, and that is the man we need, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu.
And that is Titi Lokpe's man.
Absolutely.
And that is the man Titi is following to the villa.
Yes.
Come May 2023. Titi Lokpe Gbadamosi, thank you for featuring on State Affairs.
Thank you for having me.
I like your cap. Tinubu Shatima 2023.
I'm carrying it on my head, though.
Yes, I can see. I wish you well as you go.
Thank you, Edmond. Thank you.
Titi Lokpe Gbadamosi is certified by the Institute of Peace Studies, University of Ibadan, as a chartered mediator and conciliator, and a member of the Society for Peace Studies and Practice. Titi Lokpe imbibed the crucial skills useful in alternative dispute resolution, which was recurrent at the time she served the state as an assistant to Governor Abiola Ajimobi. The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am Edmondo Bilo. I'll be back after this break. Stay tuned.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Splash FM 105.5.
I know say everybody getting time, I no go lose faith. As I dey hustle every day.